Welcome back to the Expansion Pack Podcast. I'm your host, Danzel. Joined by my two amazing co-hosts here. We got Manny.
You already know,
to the
goopy,
people,
goopy.
aka
Stay
Goop
goopy.
Master Flex, and then we got my guy Chris, aka May 25th. All right.
What's up, people?
All right, so this is our third episode of the podcast. So, once again, we're going to download this week's news in gaming and bring it to you. We'll talk about it, give you our thoughts and our ideas on it. But first off, we're actually going to get into another little icebreaker. So, once again, getting to know us a little bit better. So I'm going to let Chris take it away this week. Go ahead, Chris.
Fellas, icebreaker is, if you had to come up with one game franchise that does not currently still make games, that you wish still made games, what would it be and why? Goop, we're going to start with you.
Wow, I get the honors?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I hope I ain't stealing anybody's answers. Probably not, because I don't think anybody really liked this game as much as I did. But the Saints Row franchise, honestly, yo, like, I know it's like, yeah, you could say Saints Row copy GTA, this, that, and the third, and then they kind of like fell down with the whole superpowers. But I thought it was dope. Like, the whole superpower things was lit, honestly. Like, flying around, just killing aliens and stuff like that. But if they, did make another Saints Row game as like a little reboot, like going back to that, gangster way, in the hood, Third Street Saints, you already know how we do.
They don't make them anymore? They're done?
That's what I was going to ask. I feel like, we haven't got one in a while, but I don't know if it's been, I don't know.
I think they might be making one. I kind of heard some, but, it's just something that I want to see come back. Because,
okay,
it was like one of those games I loved as a kid.
Okay. So you gave me a little bit of time to think. So, I think I actually got something now. And I don't know why this wasn't the first thing that came to my mind, because this is one of my favorite games. Splinter Cell. I need me a new Splinter Cell. I feel like we've been hearing so many rumors that it's going to come back. E3 after E3 after E3. Ubisoft keeps putting Sam Fisher in all types of games. They just put him in Rainbow Six Siege. I need my guy Sam to come back. Like, Ubisoft, if you're listening, please give us a new Splinter Cell game, because Chaos Theory and probably Blacklist were like absolutely amazing games. And I feel like now with the structure that Ubisoft has set up with their like games as a service kind of thing, if you make yourself, a new Ubisoft game with a new story and all that stuff, and then you can throw in the Spies versus Mercs gameplay for multiplayer, that could live on forever, man. Spies versus Mercs was the game mode. They need to bring that back in 2021. I need that. Ubisoft, please hit me. Please.
I thought about that too, but
yeah. That's my game. Go ahead, Chris. What you got?
For me, and this is tough because I got a lot of them, but I would have to probably say Manhunt from way back in the day.
Okay.
It's a sleeper game. I know a lot of people nowadays, you bring that up, some people don't even know what you're talking about. But if you are into Rockstar games, look it up from way back. It's, I don't know, I just feel like the mechanics of that game were, I don't know, like the idea of that game to me was ahead of its time. Because I feel like back then, there was a couple games that were focused on like PvP and the whole online gameplay functionality, but not like how it is like now. Mm-hmm. So like I'm like, man, imagine if Rockstar really said to themselves, we're making a new Manhunt game, but like today's technology. That would be like, one, it would be rated M times 2. That's number one.
For sure.
For sure. Because the first one was really easy. Like it ain't for kids, y'all. Hey, 18 and up. 18 and up. That ain't for y'all, man. Break your little ass is not supposed to play that. That game is for grown-ups. Grown-ups, y'all.
Would that game basically be like Dead by Daylight?
I think kind of yes, but like with more of that Rockstar out there dialogue. Because I don't know if you recall, when you play Manhunt, man, and you're like hiding under a car and you got the whole squad looking for you, and they're over here calling you the worst stuff. I ain't gonna really say it right now because but they saying the worst things for looking for your dog. Like, I think Manhunt like had the most eye-opening dialogue in a video game that I could think of off the top of my head. I mean, they was cussing you out straight up, bro, making you wonder about your existence. It was pretty crazy.
Straight up?
It was crazy. Yeah, it was bad, but it was fun though. It was very fun.
I would love to see some more Rockstar franchises outside of just GTA and Red Dead. Like, it seems like those are their two like main pillars right now. Like, it seems like they've given up on Midnight Club. They've given up on Bully. They've given up. Well, I mean, at least who knows? Maybe they're making some other stuff. There was that game that they were supposed to make for PlayStation called Agent.
Club.
Bro, Midnight Club was the banger.
Yeah,
that's one of the racing games that were fire, man. Oh god.
Yeah, those games were lit. I remember playing those as a kid.
Well, we'll definitely have to keep an eye out for what Rockstar's got coming next. Hopefully, it's something a little different. But that was a great icebreaker, Chris. Thank you for getting us started on that. We'll get into this week's topics here. So, first topic we're going to talk about today is keeping with the next gen theme, like we've been talking about since we started the podcast. Looks like people this week were able to release some PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S unboxing videos. So we got to see a couple previews of the PlayStation 5, even more previews of the Xbox Series of consoles. So, just want to pick you guys' brain and, let me know what you guys thought about some of those unboxing videos. If they had you excited, if you're not a big unboxing person, if it didn't do much for you, So, Manny, I'll let you start it off. What did you think?
Man, the unboxing videos is just like ASMR videos, man. They just hit the sweet spot. If people like ASMR but don't like unboxing, it's whatever. It just hit different when they slide open the box for the Xbox and like, oh man, like I don't know, man. It hit me, man, because like we're literally like less than 2 weeks away from getting these consoles, and probably when you're listening, like probably a week away, but it's just like we're just getting close, like when they unboxed and saw everything come out. I really like what the detail inside the Xbox console box with the whole like the patterns on that kind of stuff. The presentation was dope. I really liked the whole little slide up box. And then also on the PlayStation side too. I mean, at first I thought the console was ugly, but like the more and more I look at it, like I really like the design. The design is just really unique and pretty dope. I also like how they have like the little buttons all around the side panels as well as the controller that they showcase as well on the unboxing videos. So yeah, I mean I'm just really excited.
Word. Chris, what did you think? Did you get a chance to check them out?
Yeah, man. I mean, I guess the first thing that struck me was both consoles are much larger than I anticipated. Especially when you looked at who was I watching? I think it was Unbox Therapy. Yeah, I think it was Unbox Therapy video. He put both of them like next to each other, back to back. At first, I saw the PS5 and I was like, "Wow, the PS5 is kind of big." And then I saw it next to the Xbox and I was like, "Holy shit! Well, the Xbox isn't small." And when I very first saw it, I remember it kind of looked like something that would fit in your hands, like, but it's much bigger than that. I think the designs of them are really cool. I like the PS5's design. I just don't like the color choices. Like I'm waiting to see if they ever try to really be kind of edgy and give us an all black with the red LED lights. Ooh, we get one of them. I'm here for that. Give me my Batman Beyond PS5 Special Edition. You know what I mean? Yeah, fam.
Yeah, that color scheme sounds dope.
Yeah, we need that.
Sony, if you listen, make that happen, please.
We need it.
Yeah,
we need it.
But
yeah, that's cool.
Well, I guess to both your points. So one of the first things that struck me when I saw the PlayStation 5 was, damn, it's huge. I did not. The design didn't really grow on me. I feel like if anything, after all these unboxing videos, I've kind of been emboldened in my thoughts that I don't think the PlayStation 5 looks good. I don't think it's a good looking design. And then when you combine that with the fact that it's so big, like some of the people who were getting their systems, like they had different pictures of them putting it in their entertainment system and all that stuff, and it just didn't work. Like it just looked off. But the one thing I will say that I think is dope about the PlayStation is something Manny mentioned, is the little button designs that you see on the inside of the console. Like the texture of the console is like it's textured, but it's textured by engravings of the like XO triangle like square buttons, and I think that's just really cool. And I guess it's also engraved in the controllers as well to give it kind of like its own grip as well. Like for example, like the Xbox has a rubber grip. In order to give the PlayStation controller a grip, it's basically etching in those images, which is interesting idea. I think it's really cool. I mean, it's kind of a way to celebrate your brand in a sense, right? Because you're like, you know, I guess it's something that most people probably wouldn't really see. It definitely wouldn't translate well through like video or pictures, but it seems like the people who are unboxing the videos, the you know, the influencers and the preview people who got their units, like it seems like Sony might have told them like, hey, make sure you show this off, because almost every one of those unboxing videos, like I saw people make a point to mention it, and it is a cool thing, so I get it. It makes sense to want to bring light to it. And then also the Xbox unboxings that I saw, I would have to say, yeah, I mean, we already saw a lot about the Xbox, the console itself, so none of it was particularly a surprise to me. But kind of the inverse of what you thought, Chris, I actually thought when I initially saw the Xbox that it was much bigger than it was. So it actually looks a bit smaller to me now. But the Series S is super small. Like from when they lined it up next to a Series X, I was like, oh, this is small. Like, okay, that's pretty cool. Like, you know, they weren't exaggerating when they said it's like the smallest Xbox ever made or whatnot. So the fact that essentially the two systems are the same, and you have this one big black behemoth of a box, and then you have like a tiny white box for the Series X, and really the only difference between the two is the graphical power. Like I thought that was really interesting. So, you know, can't wait to get my hands on my consoles to see for myself.
Wow.
Don't we all, man? Well, I can't, say everybody can wait, but
Y'all don't even want to get me started. Go ahead to the next topic. Don't
Oh
even.
man. Well, going back to the PlayStation, and just kind of one of the good things that came out of the unboxing videos and also the preview information about the PlayStation was the controller. I know we talked a little bit about it last week, but it seems like we got an even deeper dive into the controller this week. Now that people were able to play the Astro's Playroom game and you know, test out some of the little features of the controller, like the fact that you can the fact that it's got a speaker in it, B, the fact that it has a microphone in it where you can blow into the microphone and actually affect the gameplay that's happening on screen. So I'm just wondering what you guys think about that, and if there's any gameplay mechanics that you can see in some of your favorite games being utilized by some of that tech. So Chris, I'll let you get started with that.
I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like it sounds cool on paper, right? Because like, yeah, it sounds cool on paper, but then and you really think about the practicality of it. Is it truly going to be something that devs really try to take super advantage of, or is it going to be something that's just going to be a gimmick? You know, because that's how it always is when new things come out. They got to have a new selling point. They got to have something to tell you that's differentiated from the last thing. Last thing, you couldn't be able to say you could blow on a microphone and cause things to happen. But then again, it also is one of those things where it's like, I kind of feel like, especially Sony, kind of should have known to advertise it in a certain way coming into it, because the last controller had a little bit of a gimmick to it with the whole touchpad thing, and nobody really used it. So my thing is, like, if you are going to go into it with this being a main selling feature, then show us something that makes us go, oh, whoa, okay, now I understand why that's necessary to be in this controller. I understand how that's crucial to my gameplay experience. Like, they needed to kind of, I don't know, push that a little bit more. So I'm not going to say it's going to be trash, but I'm saying so far to me, it just seems like a gimmick. And I guess gotta wait to see how it plays out. Not hating, but You know what I mean?
I feel you.
Smarter me would say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're kind of history has kind of shown you that it's a gimmick. It's probably not going to get utilized in any meaningful way. But if you could, for example, like Destiny, is there anything about the controller in Destiny that you feel like could, if they did implement it, which they probably won't, but if they did, that would like be interesting?
And Destiny?
What if you could hear your ghost through the controller, through the speaker of the controller?
That'd be kind of fresh.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that happens now, because I know in some games on the PlayStation 4 already, like you can hear, like, for example, what was the game called? Infamous Second Son. Like when your phone would ring, you would hear the ringtone through the controller. So I mean,
That would be
even
kind of
games like
fresh.
Call of Duty, it would like have like the little noises in the controller. So I mean, I could see something like that being
See,
possible.
what if it's the footsteps, right? So, like, if we think about it in that sense of Call of Duty, and you're camping. We don't promote camping, by the way, but let's just give a hypothetical scenario, right? You're camping in a building and you're crouched down, and you could hear the footsteps of the guy coming around the corner through your controller. That's crazy to think about. But then, like, how does that work with headsets? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does that? Usually, when I have my headsets on full volume, I'm probably not going to hear something that's like.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to work.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's true nowadays, because that, like, the microphone or the speaker feature on the controller. Oh, didn't even mute my phone. But the speaker, the microphone feature, like, wouldn't work if you have your headset on, because, like, just play through your headset. So it's like nowadays we're living in a generation where, like, gaming requires pretty much a headset. I'm not saying all the time, because there's gonna be games where you play with your friends and you're in your living room chilling and they have the TV, but like, sorry, um, but like I said, you know, it's a cool feature, but most of the time, like me myself, I'm gonna be playing with a headset on, so the mic on the controller or the speaker on the controller probably won't really matter.
Yeah, I would say it's probably got like a very specific use case, right? Where if you're playing Call of Duty, and you're like, let's say Warzone in particular, right? You're playing a competitive shooter. Chances are you got a headset on, so that information coming through the controller is kind of, I guess, irrelevant or redundant at some level. So that would be pointless. I can definitely understand that, but I guess there may be some scenarios. I don't know. Let's say you actually have your system set up in the living room, right? And you're playing with family or whatever, and you're playing, I don't know, Lego Star Wars. I'm sure maybe there's something they could throw in, or Sackboy, Ratchet and Clank. Like it, if you think about it philosophically. So, at least I might be projecting because this is my experience playing games on these two consoles. But on Xbox, I'm typically playing a lot more multi-platform games or multiplayer games. Sorry. So probably a bit less story-driven games where these features with this controller would be really relevant. Whereas PlayStation, we all know them for their really big, high-quality single-player stories like God of War and Spider-Man Miles Morales, like all those games, right? Like, so it kind of makes sense from a philosophical standpoint that Sony would want to make a controller that adds that to that level of immersion for story-based games, because I can't see any of these features working in like a Call of Duty or any other game that's multiplayer. I don't know. Do you guys agree? Like, I don't. What is that?
I was like, me and Trent trying to talk at the same time.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, I agree. I mean, most of the time when I play PlayStation, it's only for the single player games, anyways, like The Last of Us and all that kind of stuff. So, they better be putting out some features, because like you said earlier, they had the nice little touchscreen on the controller, but as the console generation went on, it kind of died out. So, I better see them use more of the stuff that they do. What is it called? Promote. Like, I better see the triggers being used a lot in single player games like the God of War, the Horizon game and all that kind of stuff. The mic. I wonder how the mic is gonna work out in other games like that too as well. But we can only wait and tell.
Yeah, for sure. Chris, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, now that we bring up the whole headset version of it, like the argument with the headset, it's really kind of hard for me to even see how that works, even with some of the story-driven games, because even with some of those games like God of War and stuff, like you still kind of want almost a headset experience in a sense because the dynamic sounds that you're getting and like some of the cutscenes and all that kind of stuff, like you miss out on certain qualities of the audio if you're playing it on a TV versus the headset. So I don't know how much of the microphone thing would behoove people to like literally not care about having a headset on, but like I could see it maybe working in some like VR scenarios. It's going to be one of those things that it works better for input. Like so I don't think the speaker portion of it is going to get too much play, but I could see the microphone having to pick up your I don't know, like how you're screaming in a horror game or something like that. Maybe that could be implemented in some cases, but like I truly don't see how the audio output from the controller is gonna get so much like play. I don't know.
I definitely agree with you on that point. I don't necessarily think it's going to get too much. I don't know. It's not going to add too much to the experience. But the one thing you did mention, I do disagree with is the God of War, like the single player game experience playing it in a headset. And obviously, everyone's situation is different. But I would envision Sony's vision for you playing a game like that is like you're in your living room on the best TV in your house with a surround sound setup or whatever, what have you, and like you're like immersed in it the same way you would be immersed in watching a movie or something like that on your home entertainment system. So I don't know if they're looking at it from the standpoint of having a headset on, but I don't know. Who knows? I mean, I guess it can go either way. I guess that's the beauty of the way the games are set up is you can play it either way. I would love to see them figure out some interesting way to make the new controller mechanics work, but yeah, to what Chris said, I'm not really a huge I'm not a believer in it. I don't think it's gonna get as much usage as we would like it to get. I think you'll probably see it in this Astros Playground game. You'll probably see it in Horizon Zero West with like the way the mechanics work with trigger. And then I don't see much else happening beyond that, but hopefully I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well,
oh, go ahead, Manny. You gonna say?
no, I was gonna say, that might not be used a lot, but I know one thing that will be used a lot. The new Xbox fridge they announced. Yeah.
I like this segue, Manny. I like this segue.
Yo.
Oh man. So yeah, Microsoft went all out with that Xbox Series X fridge. I guess they only made like 3. So they made one for Snoop Dogg. They made one to give to iJustine. And then I guess they're giving away the third one. You want one of those, Manny?
I would love, the nice fridge in my kitchen.
Bro, that thing's too big, man. I don't know. But
I mean, it may be too big, but it'll hold all my food, so I'm good.
It is funny though, because Aaron Greenberg, who's like the head of marketing over at Xbox, I follow him on Twitter, and he actually did tweet out like a poll that was like, would you guys be interested in like an Xbox mini fridge if we sold it? So like I think it's crazy because if for those of you who don't know, right, they released the first last year at the Game Awards. They released the name of the Xbox and they showed it off, and everybody's like, oh, it looks like a fridge, and it became like a meme, like, oh, the new Xbox is a fridge, blah 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 blah. And it's crazy because like Microsoft, which they've always been good about these types of things, like they will lean into these memes. So like they obviously leaned into the joke and made a real fridge out of it, and now they're probably going to continue to lean into it more and make it an actual mini fridge that they can profit off of, which is crazy to me. Like if there's any companies out there who like need to take a lesson in marketing and social media and all that stuff, like look at Microsoft, because they know how to spin shit in their favor. It's crazy.
The minute they announce that mini fridge, I'm buying. I am buying and I need it. But I was also gonna say, obviously this is probably not gonna happen, but we got the Xbox fridge. No, a perfect combo with a fridge would be a nice PlayStation router, Let me start.
It do look kind of like
You
a
know,
router, yo. It do look like a router. That's
yo,
crazy.
so PlayStation not gonna make a PlayStation router though? Like, I'm trying to,
I don't think
that would be,
PlayStation's built like that, bro. I don't think they're built
yeah,
like
Yeah,
that
that's
for
what
PlayStation
I'm
is
those
built
types
like
of
saying.
that.
games. Like,
Mm-mm.
But
Nah,
that's too funny, man.
that's not coming. We are a couple years off from that, for sure.
Yeah,
Easy,
for real. I don't know.
easy.
But yeah,
I'd buy it.
the Xbox fridge definitely seems kind of dope. But yeah, we'll pivot over to our next topic here. Not really too good of a segue, especially not as good of a segue as Manny had. But Nintendo this week did drop us a little, I guess, little shadow Nintendo Direct where they had a couple of announcements. And one of the big ones that everybody was talking about was that Control and Hitman are coming to the Switch. But they're not just coming to the Nintendo store, they're actually coming via cloud. So if you go to the Nintendo store right now, and let's say you search up Control, it'll say it's a free download. But once you download it, apparently you have to pay $39.99 to get access to this cloud version of the game. This isn't entirely new for Nintendo because it seems like last year they also did something similar with Resident Evil 7 and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I just think personally, it's kind of weird. Like, like Nintendo's so far behind on a lot of online services. It's interesting that in a way they're kind of low key doing like a streaming service that nobody's really talking about. But then when you think about it some more, they're really doing this just to kind of mask the Switch's shortcomings, right? The real reason why you're getting Switch or getting Control on the Switch in this fashion is because the Switch isn't powerful enough to actually run it natively. So I guess that kind of begs the question, like, is the Switch outdated? Like, what do you guys think about that? Chris, I'll let you start this time around because I know you may have some thoughts on it. So
I think I gotta go in like a sign or something for like whenever a rant is impending. So I could just
rant alert.
throw it out, and y'all just know I'm not gonna go too hard, but like, yeah, it's outdated.
Go hard.
It's super outdated, bro. All right. I was one of these people because I heard all the arguments. People was like, "Oh, you got to give the Switch their just desserts because they're reaching for a certain audience. They're reaching for a certain audience." And in terms of them trying to get at that certain audience, I mean, technically they do well. They do sell units. They have a loyal fan base. It seems like I'm not shitting on them in that department, but in 2020 going on, I want to 2021 now because we're about 2 months away from being out of this hellish year that we've all been experiencing together. I'm tired of giving them that excuse of oh, they're just trying to hit a certain market. I'm looking at this stuff, right? So regardless of whether you're a Sony fanboy or you're a Microsoft fanboy, over the last few months as a gamer or as somebody who just enjoys to watch what's happening on both sides, you can't say that this stuff hasn't been like exciting. You can't say that you haven't been getting your eyes open to certain ideas and things that people are going to be trying. People are amped up for these consoles, man. Mm-hmm. Nintendo does not ever seem like they ever want to be a part of this discussion ever, and it's just, it annoys me now. So I'm playing Pokemon yesterday, right? Everybody knows I'm a pretty big Pokemon fan. And they've got this new mode in the new DLC where you have to party up with like 3 other people, wherever they are in the world, and you guys have to make decisions together throughout this new activity in order to catch a legendary or whatever, right? Now, in the decision-making portions of things, you can't really speak to anybody. So it's more or less kind of just everybody picking what they kind of want, and then it goes kind of by like a majority rules kind of thing, and then whatever happens, happens. And I'm sitting there oftentimes, I'm like, yo, why y'all picking this dumb shit for? We could have spoke about this for real if we could have got on a headset and just really made a good decision, and this could have been like a smart, smooth playthrough for everyone. Instead, I don't know if I'm playing with kids or not. I might have been, but that's besides the point. Point is, like, you should be able to communicate with who you're playing with. To like, it's 2020, bro. Like, what is this? Why am I still playing games that I have to guess and things like that in terms of trying to communicate with somebody for a really simple task? And I was talking to Goop about it a little bit when you had stepped out for a second. some of the older versions of the DSs or whatever that used to have the handhelds had a microphone at one point where you were able to talk to people in limited capacity. Like it wasn't like a party chat or anything like that, but you were at least able to kind of communicate on a limited basis. And then they kind of took that away too. So then I'm just looking at Nintendo and I'm just like, bro, when are y'all really gonna take off the training wheels and truly like sit at the table, like for real, for real? You know, when are y'all really gonna do that? It's if y'all didn't have Breath of the Wild and a couple of these other titles, where would we be to talk? You know what I'm saying? Like it just I hate to bring it to that, but
I'll answer your question though. Like, there's a direct answer to your question though, right? When will they come to the table? When their sales start getting hit, and their sales won't start getting hit because they always have nostalgia. Always. Nintendo could continue. I mean, we could look at what they did, right? The Wii U, the Wii, like they kind of rode the nostalgia wave for a while until they hit big with the Switch again. Nintendo can put out trash for a while and still be big because they're Nintendo and there's part of people's childhoods, and it's like Disney could just put out trash for years and still be, well, they're in an interesting place now because of Disney World and all that stuff, but regardless, like content wise, they can continue to put out trash for a while if they didn't own Marvel and Star Wars and so on and so forth. And they could get by off of Mickey Mouse and like all the Disney Channel shows that we all knew. Like that's really what's propping up Disney Plus right now, right? Granted, the Mandalorian just came out, and like we're diving into different topic. We'll stick on gaming, but the concept is the same, right? These companies in a way are swimming through based off of nostalgia, and Nintendo's always kind of beating their own drum, right? They've always like marched their own way, and a lot of people don't even look at them as competitors when you talk about Microsoft and Sony in that regard. But I don't know, it's gonna come a time where like something's gonna have to change, right? They have to do something innovative, like otherwise they put out great games, like they Breath of the Wild's great, Mario.
Software is great. It's not a game thing. It's like the hardware is just the fuck.
Right.
Like come on, man, let's go.
That's tough. But Manny, what do you think? What do you think about this topic about the Switch? Do you think it's outdated as well?
Yeah, I mean, like you guys say, on Denzel's side, it is like a nostalgic system type of thing, and we all know at one point, the Switch was just selling out everywhere to the point where it's like you couldn't find any. So like, they's probably chilling, with the sales and all that kind of stuff. I know we had rumors about that 4K console or the Switch that's supposed to come out, but I mean that's probably only dock mode really. And even so, it's like if it could run 4K on the Switch itself, handheld, I mean, what is the battery life going to be on that? Pretty much. But and then Chris's side was like the party system. It's so stupid how you have to like literally either like download this Nintendo app on the phone just to like talk to people, like on game chat, or even if you want to play like Smash with your friends online, it's like you gotta either get on like Discord or even just like be on something else like Xbox party sometimes, like that what we be doing sometimes.
Yeah.
But like, it's just 2020, where you guys at?
For real, it's weird, man. Like it's almost the way I look at it. So, Chris, you play Genshin, right? It's on the Switch, right?
Not yet. There's
Not yet.
plans to release it for the Switch, but not yet.
Okay, but it is on iPad. It is on Android phone. Like, why would I want to play it on a Switch nowadays when my phone can probably run the game better? Like, I can get an attachment to make it look like a Switch, or I could just like Bluetooth a controller onto it. Like, it makes less and less sense outside of the software, outside of the Breath of the Wilds and all that stuff. And by the way, I guess we're getting a Breath of the Wild prequel, which is actually pretty big news. But it's outside of the software, like what is the actual reason to have a Switch nowadays, right? Like there isn't really much, like especially when you dig into the fact that these games now that they're putting out, like Control and Hitman and Resident Evil 7, yada yada yada, like they're being streamed. And we just talked about last week about Xbox and Xbox Game Pass and streaming that on your phone and everywhere else. Like, why would I want to go and buy this $200 console when I already have a phone and I can just stream right to that? Like, I have so many more options, and I will have the access to all these services. Like, I could download Discord on my phone. I could download the Xbox app on my phone and be able to, game chat and all that stuff. So, like, when you look at it, again, outside of software, because Nintendo's kind of unmatched in that regard, a phone is more feature complete than a Switch is, and that's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
I agree too, because like the thing about it too, if you want to take the Switch to go and you want to play a game like Control, unless your car has Wi-Fi somehow, or you go into a friend's house that probably has Wi-Fi, but like you really can't take that and just go somewhere and be able to play it, because like you're restricted to only having to play it through a Wi-Fi signal.
Right.
Whereas if I wanted to play, like, if Control ever went to Game Pass, I would just hook up my controller to my phone, and with the new 5G networks nowadays, you can pretty much play it anywhere you want that has 5G. So I like either that, or like if you're home, like you said, I got my Xbox, like when I just like turn on my Xbox and just play.
Absolutely. So then now I'm thinking about it the way you just brought it up here. So I mean, I guess really what we're saying is Nintendo's due for a new Switch with 5G, and I guess it would probably have the power of an Xbox One X or a PlayStation 4 Pro.
Yeah, because like even if they do update the console to have better graphics, like they're probably not gonna go far and like make it as powerful as a Series X or the PS5 now, which is like
the one thing I never understood, and I felt like this had to have been coming at some point, right? Like the Switch, it has a dock, obviously, right? It uses USB-C to dock in. Why don't they just release a more powerful dock? Like, wouldn't that just make more sense? Yeah, like wouldn't that just make more sense? Like, you just release a more powerful dock that has like the GPU of Series X or maybe Series S, because Nintendo wouldn't want to price it too much, but like it has the power of a Series S in the dock, and now you don't have to buy a brand new system. You just have to buy this accessory, and people can still use their old Switches, and I feel like that would sell like hotcakes. It would, I guess, in a sense, it would kind of. It would hurt the purpose of the Switch, because they really try to bill it as more of a portable system. But to those people who do want to sit there and like play Breath of the Wild at 4K, on their big TV and all that stuff, like I don't know. I would love to see Nintendo do something like that, but we'll see. Well, we'll move on. What was
harder and harder. No, I was just saying, it gets harder and harder to justify keeping up with them. It's just.
Yeah, as always. We'll keep an eye on Nintendo because, again, they're always doing things their own way. But, speaking of next-gen gameplay, speaking of, 4K graphics and all that stuff, we finally got a chance to take a look at Watch Dogs Legion, which just came out this week for current gen. We just got a little gameplay trailer on Friday showing off it running on the Series X. They showed off ray tracing for one of the first times. I think that might have been the first time we've seen ray tracing on a Series X shown off. Did you guys get a chance to take a look at that? And, what did you guys think about it? Manny?
Yeah. I think with the ray tracing, the game looks good. I know it's one of the first, games you'll see on the new console generation. So we haven't probably seen its full potential yet, but just a little snippet of what to expect for the console generation. It looks really good, the lighting and everything like that. The game looks beautiful. I might buy, if it goes on sale, because I'm not really a big Watch Dogs person or Watch Dogs fan, but I do want to, play it out. Why not? Because it's
The launch title
current.
in a sense, right?
It's a launch title,
Yeah.
You buy a $500 system just to play 2K, but you got all these other games.
Well, actually, that'll bring us into our next question, but I'll let Chris go ahead and give his thoughts on it.
No, yeah, I mean, like you said, it definitely looked really good graphic wise. I'm not the biggest Watch Dogs fan in the world either, but it looked very well made in terms of graphics. But the thing about Watch Dogs for me, it's always one of those games where it's kind of like on paper. Every time they got a new version of the game coming out, before you get it, it sounds great, and then you get it, and then it's cool for like a week, and then like for whatever reason, like the yeah. So I'm hoping that whatever kind of gameplay mechanic they got going on in this one kind of like keeps you more engaged. But yeah, just from looking at it, it looks
good. Yeah, it
it's
does.
just-
It does look good. I have to admit, like when I saw the ray tracing stuff, I was like, okay, finally, like this looks awesome. But I do share your concerns. I actually bought the game on the One X in preparation for the smart delivery to transfer over to my Series X when it comes in. I haven't got a chance to play it just yet, but some of the stuff I'm seeing, it does look cool. It looks fun. But the main concern, I guess, for me, not with the game in particular, because we'll see what that looks like on next gen when it comes out. But I feel like we haven't really been getting too much next gen gameplay, right? We got that little, we got a pretty good glimpse of the Halo Infinite demo, but obviously that didn't really live up to the hype as far as the graphics are concerned, and eventually it led to the game being delayed, as we'll talk about a little bit more as well. But other than that, I can't really think of too many Series X games that I've seen like next gen gameplay for. Like PlayStation 5, we saw Demon Souls, we saw Miles Morales, okay, whatever. But I feel like we haven't really been seeing too much like next gen gameplay. Like am I wrong in that? Or you guys, do you guys remember anything in particular? Like everything just looks kind of the same. I don't know.
I definitely agree with you. And you say games like Miles Morales, but like those games are gonna be playable on the PS4. So like, are they really next gen games or just graphic upgrades? And then with the whole smart delivery system, I mean, it's good that you got the option to smart deliver, so that it can make the game look good with ray tracing, higher frame rates, and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, honestly, I just don't think there has been a true next gen game come out. Except for NBA 2K. I'm a fanboy, so
No, man,
I mean the
you're
game
right
looks
though. You're right though. I agree. That's probably
like
the one
I
game.
feel like
Go
I
ahead.
feel like 2K
Mhm.
is like so far like what I've seen is like that true next gen jump because they're making you buy a whole separate game and all that kind of stuff. It's something that you don't see in the current gen. We still haven't seen too much news about like the neighborhood mode or whatever they're gonna have. But I mean they have brought new modes like the WNBA and stuff like that for only next gen, as to where current gen is just like, current gen is trash. I mean if you get 2K, wait for next gen at this point. But other than that, Cyberpunk was like probably gonna be what the next gen games too. Like well for now, but if that game comes out.
Oh god, yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about that soon. But yeah, Chris, could you think of any other things you've seen that were next gen?
Not really, and I guess this is kind of what the issue is when it comes to rolling out the next gen consoles. Is that and it kind of was a little bit of this when they were coming from the 360s and the PS3 to the 4 and then the One X. You kind of see some of these game developers try to make games and then still try to appease the people who aren't going to be getting the consoles right away or whatever. But then whenever that happens, it always creates this kind of like weird gap because like we're not even gap. Is it? Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm saying it the right way, but it creates this weird thing where like the games are created for both systems instead of using everything you got to focus on the next gen stuff. And you usually don't see the true version of the next gen title until maybe a whole year after the games consoles come out because you see the games trying to again make room for the older consoles. Like even now they're talking about cross generational play in some FPSs. Like, bro, I expect that to be a mess. You know what I mean? I do not expect that to go well at all in any sense of like how. So you're telling me you got certain like I hate to keep bringing it back to Destiny, but it's like a perfect example. You're gonna have people who are playing on the older system who are stuck at 30 FPS, and then people who are playing on the new system who are capped at 60, which is double what the people on the older system have, but then they're all playing within the same ecosystem. That's weird, that's not even balanced in my opinion. That's I don't know, I don't see that going well. But like again, they keep trying to play nice with both in the transition to the next thing, and it kind of like, I don't know. The hardware to me is such a drastic improvement that it's almost like I almost wish they wouldn't do that. I kind of wish they would say, this is it. We've done what we've done with this console, and now we're on to the next. But I get there's more money to still kind of be squeezed out. And
yeah, in a sense, I agree with you, but I also look at it from the standpoint of, and to be clear, when I say I agree with you, I agree that I feel like we're not seeing enough innovation, and it may be because they're being held back by the older consoles. But I always look at the PC world as really, I guess, the model for what we're all going towards now, right? So on PC, for example, just this week, the RTX 3070 just came out. One of the new generations of the graphics cards that came out. Like, PC has to continue its legacy support for such a long time. So this scenario that you outlined on Destiny, right, where some people are playing at 30 FPS and some people are playing at 60 FPS, that already exists in the PC world, right? Some people are playing on, with equipment that can barely hit 30, and they're out there in Crucible for whatever reason, against people who are running at peak 60 frames at 4K and can see every little detail, yada yada yada. Like, people playing PUBG the same way, they're capped at a certain frame rate because of their hardware. Like, that stuff already exists. So I don't know if that's the reason we're not seeing the innovation. I just know personally that that's something that I'm really, really looking forward to. And I feel like, well, I guess we'll just kind of jump into the next topic, but I feel like a lot of it boils down to the fact that a lot of these games got delayed, right? Like Halo Infinite, we were supposed to see that was supposed to be a big launch title, and you can feel the effects of it in almost every single thing that Microsoft has done so far. Because if you look at the retail box for the Series X and the Series S, Master Chief's right there on the back. So they were planning on having a massive marketing push for Halo Infinite. And the fact that there aren't as many launch games in general, first party launch games at all, it's because Halo was supposed to be the big thing. I don't know if Halo would have been that revolutionary thing, because what we saw so far graphically, it didn't necessarily hit, but I definitely know the delay is a big deal. Like, it's definitely hurting it big time. And then, to pivot into the main topic that we really want to talk about here, the one that everybody's, up in arms about, is Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk, granted, it's when it was supposed to get released was what, March? This March? So it technically wouldn't have been a launch title per se, but it did get delayed again, got pushed to December 10th. And, they cited the reason why the game is getting pushed back is because it's not performing the way they like it to perform on current gen systems. So in a way, it's like, damn, we really want to live in this PC world where, everybody can be on different hardware, and we can continue to have games work from 4-5 generations ago, which Microsoft is doing an excellent job of, by the way. But then, I guess it also takes a hit on the release titles that are coming out. I guess maybe if COVID wasn't a thing, maybe this wouldn't be as much of an issue. I'm pretty sure COVID's a big reason why maybe Cyberpunk also got delayed. We know for a fact it's a reason why Halo did. Phil Spencer's been very open and honest about that. But yeah, I mean, I guess overall this launch is really being hindered by COVID. What do you guys think, Chris? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely got to give him COVID. COVID is definitely a very realistic thing. Still ongoing. It doesn't really seem like there's much of a stop in sight right now, kind of thing. So I mean, it's definitely affected literally everybody from these big game console companies to the mom and pop shop down the street. It's real. So, for sure, they definitely have been affected by that. But I don't know, it's weird because in terms of graphics that I've seen the best so far, it probably will be the 2K stuff that we've seen, right? I think graphically that looks the best. But then when I think about what game looks innovatively different and really hit me different, it was probably, I think, Medium's the only game I want to say that I've seen in all of these games that made me say this is a whole nother style of gameplay that I know for a fact I have never played in any other game before.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're missing a lot of. That feeling. Because at this point in 2020, it's supposed to feel like that when we're talking about newer games and these new extremely powerful consoles. And at this point, a lot of the games, although they look super dope and cool, I feel like it's just too many of them just looking like minor upgrades from their current gen versions. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what happens going forward. Obviously, it takes a little bit of time for some of the devs to get comfortable with the hardware and all that kind of stuff, and better things usually end up coming out a little later. But so far,
I feel you. Well, how do you feel about Cyberpunk getting delayed?
That doesn't mind too much though, because like Cyberpunk, granted, it's got delayed again, but I mean, from right now to December 10th, that's not the biggest deal in the world to me per se. Yeah, nah. If it was like sometimes next year, like if they said February or March, then I'd have been like, damn, that kind of really sucks. But
yeah,
a month,
3 weeks.
nah,
Yeah, roughly 3
yeah.
weeks. Okay.
Well, in the famous quote of my boy Rod Wave, I've been broke so many times I don't know what to believe. But I don't even know, man. These delays are killing me, man. I understand COVID is a thing. Obviously, I'm not saying it's not. Take your, procedures, precautions, whatever. But
Wear a mask.
man, wear a mask, sanitize, all that kind of stuff. But 3 weeks before the game comes out, you said the game was gold.
It's a good thing though, right? It's a good thing.
It's a good thing, but then it's like it's not. It's just like you tell us the game's complete, the game is gold, ready to go, ready to ship out, and then a couple weeks later saying we need to work on some current gen things. Now that got me thinking, like, why are you gonna say the game is gold if it's not, the way you like it, the way you wanted to play the game on current gen and stuff like that. Like, just be honest. That it just frustrates me because I have my high hopes for Cyberpunk. I'm still gonna play the game. I'm sure all of us still gonna play the game. We're all really excited and everything like that. But like, that hit hard when like they announced that like earlier this week. It's just why. But
It hurts.
nothing we can do about it. It's just things get it got delayed again, like third, fourth time I believe. But I think Cyberpunk hit the hardest.
It definitely hurts. I mean, it's personally, I would say if we're gonna talk about the games that hit the hardest, like Cyberpunk hurts, yeah, mainly because like it was one of those things like I was planning on playing on the Series X, whatever, what have you. But to Chris's point, like it's not too far off, like a month, 3 weeks, whatever. What hurt me is Halo, man. Halo hurt me so bad. I was like, I was giving them the benefit of the doubt after that showcase. I was like, all right, that's probably an old build. They got all that other stuff fixed. They're gonna get it fixed, yada yada yada. And then we started hearing ray tracing is coming after launch, and we may be releasing the multiplayer, and then we'll release the campaign later. And I was like, dog. I was so excited for the prospect of a Halo game at launch. We haven't had that since the original Halo. Like, can't tell by now, people, I'm a huge Halo fan. Love Halo. It hurts so bad. I want Halo, but outside of the obvious, outside of Halo and Cyberpunk, what else? We were talking about this earlier, right? We got Far Cry 6 got delayed this week. Destruction All Stars. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't care about that game, but it also got delayed. Outriders got delayed. Like, it's weird. I can understand running into certain bumps, especially with COVID and all that stuff, but some of these delays are just odd to me. Like, Far Cry 6 is an odd delay to me, right? That game wasn't supposed to come out until February or March. Why would you even announce the release date or release window of the game if there's a chance that there may be some issues. Like, just don't say anything. Just be like, hey, Far Cry 6 coming next year. Bam, that's it. You're good. When you feel like you're more comfortable getting closer to the the release date, then you announce it. I feel like things like this will lead us to get more shadow drops of games, like Apex Legends, right? Like that game, they were just like, boom, here's one day here's Apex Legends. This is a game we've been working on for a while. Here, it's ready to go. I feel like we're gonna get more of that now because developers are, they're afraid to show off their game and say, oh, it's coming at this date and have all this promotional material ready for it, and then have to pivot hard when it's not ready to go. I don't know. I would love to see more of that, though, to be quite honest. Like, I would love to not have my hopes like get all wound up and then just shatter my dreams by telling me, oh, it's going to be delayed till next year or whatever, what have you. I would love also, it's just like a delight for gamers, right? Like, in December we're going to have the Game Awards. One of the best things about the Game Awards and E3 and those types of bigger events with presentations is when they show off something really, really dope and then it's like available now. Like that is like such a great gift for gamers. Like, I would love to see more of that. I can't think of the last thing that I've really experienced that with outside of Apex, but do you guys agree? Do you guys think that that's something we're going to see more of going forward? Manny?
Yeah. It is possible. Like you said, I remember when Apex was first a thing, we all thought, oh, it's gonna be a Titanfall battle royale, and the next thing you know, like,
it's huge now.
They just hit us with this, Apex out now, battle royale from the creators of Titanfall. This, that, and the third. It's like, oh, but yeah, like, and this is also where times where I guess you could say indie game, the indie games got their time to shine too, because there ain't no really console launch exclusive. So like, it gives them an opportunity to, maybe not showcase, like, well, obviously showcase. You want to showcase your game, you want it to sell, but more like it gives them time to just like, people are gonna get bored of 2K. People are probably, I don't know about Cyberpunk, but like, when those games do come out,
yeah.
But they're gonna want to play something else, and you really can't play anything else right now because, like you said, games are being delayed left and right. So, those indie games, just push out their games, and just Xbox Game Pass as well. I know they do a lot of indie games as well in their Game Pass that we'll be able to try out as well. So, it's pretty exciting times for like those small developers.
Yeah, I mean, to Chris's point, Chris, not to take your turn again, but you mentioned the medium. Like, do you think that game would really be getting as much burn if we had like the Halo, like if all these games weren't getting pushed back? Do we think the medium would be a game we're talking about as much? Like, I think it looks really cool, and I probably would have checked it out, but I don't know if it would have gotten the same shine. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. That's a hard question to answer, just because I want to say yes and then I want to say no, just for the fact that it's such a different kind of game. Like, you really have to sell that to people, because some people are gonna look at that and say this looks stupid and I don't want to play it. Whereas other people who are intrigued by like new mechanics, because it's that same old argument of some people don't like change and some people just want the same old meat and potatoes that they've been getting. Like when Call of Duty players, they're mad when they get a new Call of Duty game and it's got all these other brand new features. But then what happened to the stuff that I've liked in the last 3 games? You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those kind of ideas where like not everybody's going to be checking for that game. It's just how I have to look at it. But like, yeah, I guess it does help it in a way. If Halo was coming out right now and they still were saying that the medium was going to be dropping by the end of the year, all these bigger titles would overshadow it for sure. And then now I guess they do have more of a platform to kind of push it forward before, because they don't really have much other choice. Like, if these are the games you guys got to still push these games while the other ones are getting finished, right?
Yeah.
So,
and it's in Game Pass. It's in Game Pass too, so that helps it out a great deal. And I mean, there's plenty of games to play in Game Pass, but not all of them are necessarily brand new. So to have a brand new game in Game Pass, like Medium, launching day one, like, yeah, it's a pretty big deal. Granted, I think it's still coming out. is it coming out around the time that Cyberpunk is? Isn't it coming out December 10th?
Yeah, and that's the thing that I was gonna
Sadly,
say.
yes.
Was like, I wish that game was kind of like Tell Me Why, because you know, like how Tell Me Why got announced in the same rollout, but it was out like that later that week or something like that.
Right. Yep.
This game would have been great for October because it has that scary tone to it. So it would have been way easier to even push a game like this forward, given the time period. But I mean, they missed out on that one, I guess. It's coming out near Christmas rather than on Halloween, where it kind of should have come out.
I really thought they would end up pushing that out as a launch game. I thought that after Halo got delayed, they would try to. I mean, maybe it's. I may be speaking out of my ass here because there's a chance that maybe they might still do this. But I thought for sure that they would try to pull something else out, you know, as a launch title. Like my thought process, and you know, I'm again probably completely off base, but my thought process would have been that Microsoft had programming planned out, like for let's say January, February, so on and so forth. Like we'll have this big game come out, this big game, like every month try to hit some big game on Game Pass, especially with all the studios that they got and all that stuff. So I kind of thought maybe they might be able to push something forward as a launch title just to have a bit more content, but it seems like they're just gonna let things ride, I guess. I don't know. I really hope we're gonna get Halo sooner rather than later. Like I know there's all this controversy around it. Like I guess this week they just had one of their creative directors move on to a different project within Microsoft. So it's like, ooh, like what does that mean? I mean, everybody wants it to mean something. It probably means nothing realistically, but man, I just want Halo Infinite already. I need me a Halo game. I need it.
Yeah, I agree, man. When they did delay Halo, you know, that was devastating as well. I'm glad they, listen to the fans and all that kind of stuff where, they're not like, oh my God, I can't speak. Where they're listening, getting criticized about the graphics and everything like that. You know, I'm glad that they're going to take the time to improve on that because obviously nobody wants an incomplete game or like, or just a game that just looks sloppy. So I'm kind of glad that they're taking the time and focusing on that game more. Because it's Halo, man. Halo's a huge game, and you just push out a console launch game that's so sloppy.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like the gameplay they showcased was sloppy. I mean they had some things they had to fix, like the graphics were pretty bad, like the grassing and stuff like that. But I just Cyberpunk still hit me, man. Like, how you gonna just delay the game like 3 weeks before?
I think to draw the parallel again, like Microsoft can't afford to let Halo be bad, right? Like they can't afford for it. Like it's too big a franchise. It's too important to fail. Like Halo is synonymous with Xbox. You cannot let it just go by the wayside. Like it's too big, way too big. And then in essence, Cyberpunk's not a huge franchise, but CD Projekt Red is very careful and meticulous about how they put out content. Like they are becoming more and more like Rockstar, right? Rockstar kind of does things. They're like the Nintendo of gaming, except they are exceptional at what they do. Like they very much go to the beat of their own drum, but they will innovate. Like they have new things almost all the time, things you've never seen in a game before, and they will find a way to push it out. But they won't rush their games. Like if their game's not ready, they will delay it. They do not care. They're usually not even very big about giving release dates for that exact reason, because they will only put a game out when they are ready. So usually don't see too many bugs in like for example, Red Dead Redemption didn't have too many bugs. There was a couple really funny ones that happened here and there, but generally speaking, that game is polished, it's optimized, it's ready to go. And I feel like that's the exact same process that CD Projekt Red is taking. So even though it hurts to have all these games being delayed, it really just it boils down to being for the better for everybody. Because I forgot who it was that said this, but a delayed game is only delayed a couple months, but a bad game is bad for forever. So it's worth it to just delay a game for a couple months or whatever it happens to be, for it to have a better impact and better impression, a better review score, more sales, all that stuff, so that they didn't go through all that work for nothing. I guess we'll see where we land on the rest of these games.
Oh, no.
I'm really hoping we don't get any more delays.
Can we just be honest and just say, like, I don't know. I personally, I feel like I'm not gonna get ultra excited about anything gaming next gen wise until probably spring of next year, because I feel like, yeah, the consoles are coming out in a couple weeks. Yeah, it's a big moment and everything like that, but it's gonna be like rough in some ways, just based on circumstances, based on the fact that one, not everybody's gonna be able to get one. That's a big thing off rip.
Sure.
Two, all these games are getting delayed, and three, the whole some of these games you have to worry about making them playable on the other generation's game consoles or whatever. So it's just like I don't expect the wind to truly start picking up until like around like March or April. And then a lot of those games that we were waiting on probably will have already been able to come out. By then, we probably see some other new stuff starting to come out and hearing about how devs are going to start wanting to use the hardware a little bit differently and stuff like that. And I think then is when they probably start saying, all right, yeah, all right, oh, yeah, we've had it for a couple months and now, oh, yeah, now we got it. But I'd say go into this winter with expectations, but don't put them too high until later on, I think that's how I'm gonna look at it, at least, so that way you don't end up getting too disappointed by something right away.
Okay, a good old set your expectations low trick.
Yeah. It just makes sense, man. I mean, there's so many different variables, especially if we're really factoring COVID again and all that stuff, like delays and all that kind of stuff. Production, it's impacted. So just go into it knowing that certain things are going to be affected, and unfortunately, it could be the quality of games, it could be the quantity of games, it could be the quantity of consoles, it could be a bunch of different things, but it's just going to be rough for a couple months until we're all on the same page, I want to say, for sure.
I feel that. Well,
all I'm going to say is, I'm still playing 2K when the Xbox launches, so.
Dude, it's 2K.
Manny
They gotta
always
get
with the 2K.
They gotta give you a sponsor, fam.
Always with the 2K. I mean, it's true though. That's probably what I'm gonna be playing until we're waiting for some harder hitters, right? Like we'll be playing Destiny, we'll be playing 2K, we'll be playing Madden. I guess Madden is supposed to have some sort of revamp the same way 2K is, but it seems like it got delayed. See, they kind of did it right because they didn't actually say that it was coming out at launch, but now we found out it's coming out December 4th. So it's like, in my mind, it got delayed, but like we can't actually say it got delayed because they didn't say anything about it. So, whatever. It is what it is. We'll enjoy our systems when we get there.
Could be another anthem, right? We could be sitting here talking about something.
That is true.
Could be another anthem, so.
That is true. That is always the thing to look at, right? That is the personification of that quote, right? A delayed game is only delayed a couple months. A bad game is bad forever. I mean, granted, Anthem might not be bad forever, but as far as in our minds, like how that game's what? It's almost 2 years.
Yeah, almost.
Hasn't been 2 years, bro.
Dude.
Yeah, this February, I believe.
It's 2 years, and they're still working on
updating.
They just had the blog post like a week ago on updates.
I still have faith. I have faith that they can pull a No Man's Sky and pull it together and have it be amazing. But right now,
I mean, they got all this stuff, man. If they fail again, that's gonna be.
My thing is, why not just make it Anthem 2 and just make it free to play and just be done with it? Like, if it's taking that long, like, just be like, hey guys, look. We're scrapping the game. We're starting from scratch, and I guess it's probably in bad taste to do it that way because people spent money on the game. I don't know. That's an impossible task. I have no idea. I have no idea what's about that.
First one free to play, and then like when you release the big update.
A straight Anthem watch. I'm telling you. Pull it up every so often. Oh, where is Anthem at today? I don't know. Is the new game coming out yet? No. All right. 2 months later, Anthem Watch number 2. Is it out yet? No. Are they still working on it? Yeah, they still working on it, bro. Okay, we come back to it. Anthem Watch number 3. Is it out? No. It's like, we got maybe a thing. Look out for that, y'all. That might be coming to the show.
It might be. It might be. We might have to have a whole Anthem Watch section just for that, man. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there for today. I think we had a really good discussion about this week. But we won't leave the episode without posing a question to our viewers, and I'll let you guys answer if you guys want to, Chris and Manny. But since we're talking about game delays and all that stuff, what do you think is the worst game or the most disappointing game you've ever played that probably could have benefited from a delay? I would say for me, Anthem is probably up there.
Number one answer, honestly.
Anthem's gotta be my number one answer for sure.
Come on,
I mean, BioWare just slacking in general, because I remember they even released
Mass
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. Let's make the question if you can't say Anthem, so that way we all have to come up with something original.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we can't say Anthem. So, all right. I mean, is that yours, Manny? Mass Effect?
I'm gonna say Mass Effect.
Yeah. Ah, oof.
You got it.
That really hurt me. Fallout 76. Oh hell yeah. What? That shit right there, man.
Damn.
Fallout was rough. Fallout 4 too it didn't hold expectations to what you thought the new next gen version of what Fallout was gonna be after they had just did Fallout 3 and then they just knocked out New Vegas out the park. And then you're like, oh my god, Fallout 4, and then you play Fallout 4 and it's like it's alright, but it didn't feel like a next gen version of what you just played. All they did was take bats a little bit, called it a day. They didn't really do anything.
Most disappointing game. I don't know if I got one for Anthem. Was like it, man. That game was so disappointing. I thought that game was
Same.
I thought that game was gonna be it, bro.
Same.
Thought that game was gonna be it.
SMH.
Oh, I had a game. Where did it go? Star Wars Battlefront 2 specifically. Battlefront 2. I thought that game was gonna be so dope because the first one was really good and I really enjoyed it. I don't know if delaying it would have helped. I think it was just the fact that the way EA structured it with the loot boxes and all that stupid crap was really bad. So I don't know if a delay would have helped it, but that was like probably one of my more disappointing games of this generation. Really.
Damn it.
Yeah, I mean, like the updates they did, it might be a little bit too late, even though they updated the game like almost a year ago. But like, if the game would have came out like the way it is now,
yeah,
like that game definitely would have been a hitter. But
yeah, it would have been better.
But
or
like
really,
you said,
it really got better because of the feedback, and I don't think that it getting delayed would have helped. So yeah, that's gonna be my answer. We're gonna rock it there. We'll leave it there for you guys. So, make sure you guys comment, let us know what it is that your most disappointing game of the generation or of all time, one that you think really would have benefited from some delays like Cyberpunk and Halo. And, we'll leave it there. We'll give these guys a chance to plug themselves. So, Manny, Mr. Goop Master Flex, where can we find you, man?
You already know where to find me. Don't forget onlyfans.com/GoopMasterFlex. Instagram, Twitter, GoopMasterFlex. And don't forget to watch my streams, stop by, say hi. I talk.
All right, Chris, what you got, man?
I don't even do OnlyFans. I'm real out here. Catch me on, North and West.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Brother.
Fishnets. You know what I mean? I'll be out there with the leg out. Holla at me. I'm trying to make a buck, No, but on a real note, you can find your boy on almost everything under the same exact handle, MAY25THXX. That's May 25th XX and everything. All
right, and of course, one of your hosts, Danzel, aka Black Ice 8. You can find me just about anywhere at Black Ice 8, Twitter, Instagram, Xbox, PlayStation. And, we're also streaming on Twitch as well. So come check us out. Come hang out. Join us. Make sure you like and subscribe to this video. And, we'll come to you guys next week with more information, more news, more topics to discuss. Have a good one. Peace.
Yep.